Hey everyone, Ipsy here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a little mini Pop-Tart, kind of like this one. I'll do different colors though. So for this tutorial, if you wanted to follow along, you'll need a crochet hook. I am using my e-hook as I normally do. It's my favorite. If you are a beginner, I would suggest you use something a little bit bigger like an H or an I hook, but it's really up to you and what yarn you are using. You will also need some yarn. So today I'm going to make an Oreo Pop-Tart, I believe they're called. So for the frosting color, I have white, and then for the cookie part, I have this brown, and that will also double as the sprinkles on top. So just think about what Pop-Tart you want to make. For this one, I actually needed 3. So I have the cookie color is that lighter brown, more tan color, and then it's a strawberry Pop-Tart, obviously. So the pink frosting and then the red sprinkles on top. So just think about what you want, because it's going to vary on colors depending on what cookie you want to make or Pop-Tart. All right, so we're going to start with a slip knot, okay? And this one just has chain stitches and single crochets, so it's a pretty good beginner pattern. But if you don't know how to do those, then you go check my tutorials list and it's on there. Okay, so you're going to chain 9. Right there. Okay, and then not in that first one, not this one that's attached to the hook essentially, but in the next one over, you're going to put a single crochet. And then you're going to go across the row. You should have 8 single crochets total. So for me, this one is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I can get it in there, 7, and 8. Okay. To turn, I'm not going to make this any smaller than it is because that's important later on. To turn, you're going to do a chain, and then not in that chain, so you can see that chain, but in both of those, it'll look like a V. You're going to go in there and you're going to single crochet across again. And again, you should have 8 single crochets across this next row. Oh goodness. Okay, and again, just like the last row, you're gonna chain stitch and then go back across. Okay, so I am going to actually finish up a total of 10 rows. So that was 2 that we did together. You're going to need to do 8 more rows, okay? And I'll show you when we come back how to count those to make sure that you have enough. So I am going to finish these and then I will be right back. If you need to pause the video to keep up with me, then that is totally fine too. All right, and I am back. So I finished that front piece. This will be the frosting. So to count your rows, you're going to want to look at these. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but they are kind of more almost like little valleys. Okay, so this one, that is 1 row, that shorter version. This one right here, so there's a value right there and there's a value right there. And then it's got kind of dots in the middle. That is 2 rows. So the easiest way that I have found to do this is to flip it so that this, you can tell there's 2 rows at the bottom, because that's my starting chain right there. 2 rows at the bottom, especially if it's an even number, then you can count by 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That is 10 rows. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our sprinkle color, or if you wanted to do a swirl, you could also do that. That would be cute because some of them do have a swirl instead of those sprinkles. But I'm just going to cut a piece of it, and then I'm going to put that in my hook, or my needle, I mean. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of sporadically, I'm going to start right there, kind of in the middle. And I'm just going to sporadically make little sprinkles. I'm going to make them all different directions and just kind of play with it. So I'm kind of sporadic with this. So I will jump from down here to up here and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of go wherever. There's not really a way, you know, to do this correctly. It's just they're all gonna be unique, most likely. If you make more than one of these, I'm not even looking at the one I made earlier, so they're just all gonna be unique. And you can add more sprinkles or less sprinkles. It's just kind of whatever you want to do. So I think there needs to be something up in this corner here. So I'm going to add a couple up in the corner, or maybe just one. We'll see. And then that might be it. I'm going to put one more right here. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to do one down here yet. Right there. Okay. So as you can see, this one doesn't have as many. This one had a lot more. It just really, it's up to you. It's your creation and what you would like to do with it. Okay, so last I'm going to take and just make a little knot here. Doesn't have to be extremely stable, but just make a knot so it stays. And then over here, the same thing. I'm just going to use my needle. And I'm going to make a knot right here. Just enough so that it doesn't come, like those stitches don't come out. Okay, and we're going to set this piece aside. Do not cut anything off of that. We're going to need that later. Okay, the next thing you're going to do, literally the same thing. So you're going to take your cookie color and you're just going to chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then you're going to single crochet across. And again, like the other one, you will want 10 rows of 8 stitches. Okay. So there's one row. Remember at the end of each row to do a chain stitch and then keep going. So we're going to want 10 of those stitches. I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. All right, and I am back. So there is the back of my cookie. This one, do not break off. That is very important. So I'm just going to take my two sides and I'm going to put them together. Okay, make sure that your finished sides, your working sides are together, and then those edges are together as well. So I'm going to do a chain. I already did one, just out of habit. And then I'm going to flip it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through that like I would do the next, if I was to do a next row, I'm going to go through that and one of the white. Okay, so I'm going to want 8 across this top part. Just like if you were doing another row, just make sure to incorporate that white in there. And if you flip it over, you can already tell like there's the edge of your cookie peeking out from under that frosting. Okay. So I've got 2 more. And last one. Okay, so there's my last one on that top row. Now, in all the corners, you're going to want to add another one, just so it lays nice. Okay, so there's my second in that corner. Now, to go down the sides, it's a little trickier, but you're going to essentially add for each row. So there was one row. This one is the next row. You're just going to add a stitch on the side of each row. Now, that should make sure that you're doing both sides as well, by the way. But that should make it pretty evenly spaced across the edge of your row. If you are finding that you need a few less or a few more to make it lay flat, then you can add those too. It just really kind of depends on the person and their tension levels and all that kind of stuff. But general rule of thumb is going to be 1 stitch per row, at least on single crochet, which is what we're doing today. Okay, so I am almost done with this row. Okay, now we're not going to do one in that last, so there's going to be a tiny bit. But what we are going to do, make sure to tuck that away. Okay, we are going to go into, for the next row, into that chain and into that single crochet. And in that one, we are going to do 2. So that will be our turning corner. Okay, now if you flip it over now, it looks pretty close to a Poptart already. Okay, now the next one, or the next row, or the next side, I guess, similar or pretty much the same as the first, just in each of those chains and in each of those single crochets. Okay. And again, you're going to go in there a second time for your corner. Okay, now this part, since we're on the last edge now, you're going to want to tuck in all your ends. These don't have to be stuffed a lot. If you think of a Poptart, they are pretty flat, honestly. They have a little filling, but they're fairly flat. So I just use my tails, honestly. And then if you think it needs a tiny bit more, you can add a tiny bit more stuffing. My tails were long enough this time. I don't think I need more. Okay, and then the same thing, since this is an edge, you're just going to go about 1 stitch on each row. Super simple. Okay, once you get to the end of that, you have a couple choices to make. So you can make this into a keychain. You can leave it as it is, as a little trinket or a little toy for a doll or whatever you want to do. Now, I'm going to make mine a keychain. So what I'm going to do, I've got all of it done. It's closed up. Nothing's going to come out of it. So you're going to do kind of however many you want. I'm going to play it by ear and see how many chains look right to me. But I think it's going to be about 20. Okay, so that's 20. If you want it longer or shorter, you can do that, but that's a pretty decent size. Okay, so then to finish this off, you're going to go in that first single crochet on that first row that we did, and you're simply going to make a slip stitch in it if you don't drop your yarn. Okay, let's try it again. Slip stitch, okay, and then just do a chain to finish it off. Okay, and I wouldn't cut very long on that tail. My tail is very short, but then just pull it. Okay, and then to finish it, the last part is you're going to put that on your needle again, and then just hide it however you want to hide it. I'm just gonna put mine in and then kind of pull it out the middle. Kind of depends on how long your needle is and all that kind of stuff for what you can do as well. And then I have that tail in the middle, and I'm just going to snip it right next to my Pop-Tart. And there it is. That is my keychain Pop-Tart. I can add one of those silver rings if I want to, or I can just tie that on, or however you want to do it. All right, so there's that one. And then here is that strawberry one I made earlier. If you wanted to duplicate that one as well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I hope to see you all soon. Bye.